to another episode of Booked, Blessed, and Busy. Today, I was thinking, as in our last episode, we were just talking about like how we were responding in the midst of our seasons.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I noticed for me that songs and like music, scripture, all of those things became like they become like an outlet for me.
Yeah.
Where I could like express myself more and find like a Me Too kind of moment. But then like also when I just didn't have the words, I was like, yes, you understand me. Be here. It's that kind of moment for me. But whether it might be in conversations I was having with people, or it might be with music or poems or quotes, whatever it might be, to kind of summarize and to bring some kind of life and meaning to my journey. And so I was just wondering for y'all, in the midst of y'all's journey,
Yeah.
did you have like, what was your creative outlet? And that could look like, words, that could look like music, that could look like painting, whatever it was. Let me start off with this. Did you have an outlet?
Yeah.
And what did you notice that your outlet, what did you notice about what your outlet looked like?
I realized I had two outlets.
Mm-hmm.
An outlet where I could just do, and an outlet where I could just be. So
Gotcha.
the outlet to do was
deep.
Yes.
That was good.
An outlet to do was my personal projects, like my passion projects, particularly Imago Day things. Anything along those lines where I could like be as creatively free as possible. That was like an outlet for me, and it didn't feel like work. It felt like I was like doing my thing. You know.
You want to tell the people about Imago Day?
Sure.
Let the people know.
For those of you who don't know already.
Yes. So Imago Day is a movement that I started with two of my like closest best friends. In 2020, during like the height of all of the racial unrest, we had this idea to reach people about videos that had to do with like race-related things, but particularly for the campus of the university. And honestly, it's a movement. We've grown so much, but the whole idea is like, how do we get 15-minute videos of people talking about just important things or things that are heavy, and kind of mirror like how to have empathy in these conversations, even if we disagree. And so that is a passion project of mine.
It's her little baby.
It's my little baby. It's 3 years old. Oh my gosh.
This year will make 3.
This
right?
year,
This
yes.
summer.
Yeah, this summer
Yeah.
makes 3. But shout out to Kat and Dave. They're my riders. But yeah, so doing passion projects where I got to do things, that was my place. And then the places where I got to be was in music. Like, I can't sing, and I know y'all experienced that in the last episode or several episodes. I can't sing.
It's your outlet. That's all that matters.
No, but it wasn't. The thing is, it wasn't about me singing. It was about me sitting and just listening. That was my places of being. And so the
You were
songs,
receiving.
I was receiving.
You weren't giving.
Yes, and so the songs I would say like gave me hope was I was listening to a lot of Natalie Lauren. I don't even know if people even like.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna learn it though.
she has like EPs and I think an album out, but she just had like inspirational songs that wasn't like, and I mean this in the best way, it wasn't like completely like God-centered, but it just was like uplifting music. She is a Christian. It was positive vibes. She's a Christian artist. And then I also the songs I had, like the song in particular I had on repeat when I was like in the trenches. I was in the trenches. It was Here Again by is that Elevation? Yeah, like that is a song I go back
Will you meet
to.
me here again?
Yes,
Yeah.
like I'm like, God, like I don't even have prayers, bro. Like I just need, this song is my prayer. Like, meet me in this place, because if you can't meet me, then I don't know. So those were the being and doing and like my creative forces.
Yeah. I think for me, I like how you split that. You said do and be.
Yeah, be like the places to do and like the places to be. Just
Yeah, I like that split. So let me see if I can run with that. I think for me, one of the things that I found like a greater sense of being was in worship. And so in church, like I've even just been having a different kind of experience of church where the music, like, and words, hymns don't just sound like hymns to me no more. I can remember when, like, I think the first time I really recognized this was like, what a friend we have in Jesus. And I like slowed down and I like went through like line by line with that song, and I was like, wow, this is good to me. This is good to me. And so songs and hymns in particular, they began to speak to me differently. There's also an album by Todd Galbraith, I think I'm saying his last name properly, called Encounter, that I have absolutely loved. There's a song called New Wine, and all after all these years.
I was gonna bring that one up.
Let me pull this up right quick so I could tell y'all about my fave, because he been speaking to me early in the mornings. Joy is coming, be praised. Let me tell y'all, just basically the whole album. Fear is not my future. I think that is the biggest one for me. Because I realized like a huge part of like what my season was looking like, it was, if I had to describe the emotion, it was fear. And a lot of it felt like, and a lot of that was like manifested through like my experience of anxiety. And so I think the music in that way helped me to put some things into perspective about like what exactly I was fearful about, how I was interacting with the concept of fear, where I saw God in the midst of fear, how I felt about the fact that I was fearful. All of the things helped me in that. Painting became an outlet for me, something to do. I began to, well, I don't do it as often as I'd like to be honest, but it is an expressive outlet where it kind of it's anti everything my perfectionism and you just kind of flow and see whatever kind of creative outlet comes out with that. I think a place of doing for me was in relationship, and I found more intentional ways of doing relationship that worked well for me. Instead of kind of doing in the way that I was either trying to make myself fit into some kind of mold, I found a way of doing where I showed up how I showed up. My capacity was in there. I can let you know. I'm not gonna. I don't have the energy to put on a face and to kind of fake it till I make it. It's not doing me justice. And if I also don't have my solitude and my personal time, I'm not gonna be no good to you. So I've become a lot more introverted in the midst of my process too, and needed some like alone time in order to recharge, recognizing that it can cause more discord if I put myself in positions in relationship where I was not being and doing things in the way that felt authentic to me at that time. So yeah.
What about you, Danielle?
As I was talking, I was like, yep, that too. Okay, so I don't know that I can split it between doing and being. I'm just going to talk through these and they fall where they fall. Yeah. Concerning songs, music is really, really, really important to me. And there are some moments that, especially in the time when I said like I would just go home and like take a nap, it would be really important for me to just play like instrumental music. A lot of times it was like the prayer worship instrumental music, but I needed that to kind of like set the atmosphere in the room that allowed me to be in whatever space that I was in. I didn't really want to be in silence, but I needed that in order to kind of put my brain back into a good place. And now that I think about it, maybe it was a way of like overpowering the confusion and chaos that felt like it was in my brain. It's really weird, but even people like playing the keys like gently, even if it's not worship music, just like a gentle chord progression kind of thing, immediately settles me. I literally feel my heart rate settle. And so that was important for me. I can't play, but I was like, YouTube has people who have instrumentals.
What's his name? Dappy Keys.
Yes.
He was somebody for me like in the mornings.
Yes.
I would try to start my mornings with him.
Yes.
I'm gonna put you on the
YouTube.
Yeah, because I'm like, no, I don't know.
No, it's really, he's on YouTube. I think he has a lot of
him.
things that he like records and it plays live, but it just like loops 24 hours a day. His YouTube name is Dappy T Keys.
Yes.
And but it's worship music, but like prayer music, worship music, whatever. And I would like play that as well as others that would really set the tone for what I needed to just like, it did the same thing to me that deep breathing does, and just like bringing me back down to a place of peace. Specifically with, okay, so worship has also been big to me, and like I highlighted, I think last week, places of worship and prayer for me have been more sacred and have felt like have felt like running into the arms of a parent. In this season, God has always been parent, God has always been father, but this season of Valley has pushed me to interacting with God in a more intimate level. Mm-hmm. And in that intimacy, worship and prayer allows me to just like come as a child, and to come into a place that feels like refuge and safety. And I think the safety of that has been big for me. Mm-hmm. Specifically, 2 songs, After All These Years. But After All These Years, it's the bridge that gets me. From generation to generation, there's no boundaries to his greatness. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, you're not done yet, or he's not done yet. Mm. That I needed because it is a testimony of my life and hope for the future, as well as Firm Foundation by Maverick City. Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand when everything around me is shaking. I've never been more glad that I put my faith in Jesus. He's never let me down, faithful in every season. So why would he fail now? He won't. And I had to declare that he won't fail in the midst of all of the things. So those are like creative things. Outside of that, confession, I've been talking to my clients about journaling for a long time. It's not something I did consistently. I'll do it every once in a while, but it's been a lot more consistent, and it has really been a help to me in processing. And lastly, Gailey mentioned relationships. Relationships have been a big place for me as well, but they've served differently, and I've had to be more intentional about how I do them, meaning it's not just how I show up, as you described, but the people that I allow myself. I've been more protective around who I put myself around. And like I am less. It's been less of a space of making myself be around these people, but like I just don't want to, and I don't want to go, right? So simple things like, do I have to take every invitation because you offered it to me? I don't, right? Like I don't have to be in every space because I realize that it doesn't protect the authenticity of who I am right now and the way that I need to be. And so just being more choosy about my social time, as well as like taking time with like intentional time with family members over the phone that allow me to remember that like life is greater than my life in Cleveland. And being reconnected with them. You know what has also helped me? It depends on my mood, but I'll be in the kitchen cooking and stuff and just playing some good reggae. No. And I don't mean like the ragga dance hall of the present.
Say it in the mic with your chest.
I mean, you said it'd be good.
No, I said I'd be playing that.
Once in a while it has its place. But like the good, it just feels nostalgic to me to play like the 90s into 2000s reggae. It feels like I'm at home with my parents. It feels like we in the car riding when I was 8.
Barris.
Yeah, listen, Barris Hammond. Okay, okay.
All the people.
Listen, all of them. Okay. Really, it brings me back to being just like 8 in the back of the car riding and they playing the music. Listen. And so being in that feels comforting to me, and it really has been like, ooh, yes.
You said like it was important for you to have like the reminder that, life for you is bigger than your life in Cleveland. That is huge. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think I've called or talked to my friends as much as I have.
Oh my gosh.
Ever. Like, just
shout out to them.
Big up to my friends.
To the friends who don't live here.
To the friends who don't live here.
The ones who live here, I appreciate you.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
But the ones who like connect me to home.
You need that man.
Mm-hmm. And just like connect me to like my core, like myself, like remind me of myself the most. That was what I needed. Like,
that's good language.
I call them like soul moments. Like being able, even if that's just like talking for 10 minutes, but that's like 10 minutes of you interacting with like, not therapist me, not school me, not like.
It comes with different expectations.
Yeah, like we just get to laugh. And I'm like, these individuals are also high performing individuals. So they also know the pressure.
Yes.
I'm not going to act like my friends aren't.
Listen, they are high top tier.
All of them.
You better boost them.
All of them.
Let the people know.
But it still was like that understanding, like, nah, we just need a moment, bro.
Even the simple things of, and I know y'all get this personally, but the simple things of like not having to speak proper English.
The code switching?
And Yeah, but not just code switching, but like fully accent switching.
Yeah.
Like not just how I say something, and with different friends, different things. But like with my family specifically, like for most of them, if I call them, I'm getting patois, and so I can give it back.
Yeah.
And I don't have to put on anything. It just feels really homey.
This is giving me some more perspective in language too, of like why I feel different, because I think in the midst of this journey too, in caring for myself, I need range in what care looks like, what relational care looks like. And you both just highlighting like what those relationships do in terms of bringing you into a sense of home and reminding you of like who you are. It makes sense, like even in conversations I would like have with my friend Monique, and the other day we just was on the phone talking and reminiscing on like, you know, Easter time is the time when we home and we eating fish and hot cross bun, and I mean we was just talking deep in our accent. And it was just the simpleness of that, and just being able to send like little Bahamian TikToks and whatnot, that just like ground us for a second and bring us back to like hominess.
TikTok and Instagram.
It's like a hug.
TikTok and Instagram recently, I like find, and for me, it's mostly the Jamaican ones. All of them make me laugh, but the Jamaican ones like hit different. But all of them, whether it's the Bahamian ones, the Haitian ones, the Jamaican ones, the Guyanese ones, they all just like, I don't know, it's comedy and it's lighthearted, but it hits my heart in a different place.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, there are.
And I think you feel it even more when it's someone in a deficit. Where you don't have, and when I say in a deficit, it maybe sound like a dramatic word, but when you don't have that on a consistent basis here, like we're not in it all of the time here. It's something we have to like intentionally pursue and invite into our worlds. It hits a little different. Yeah. So I'm just sitting here in gratitude for those moments where I get to experience those reminders. Because especially when you feel distant and disconnected from yourself, you need that fam.
Yeah. The reminder of like, this is who I am. Like,
and
I'm still this person.
It's just perspective. Like, for me, it's very easy for me to drown in all of the things.
Yes.
Like, all of my roles. So, like, and because my schedule is quite literally filled with all these responsibilities, just, like, get up, be therapist, be supervisor, be teacher, be all the things. Okay, go to sleep, get up, do those things again. And so it just pulls me out of my, like, zoned in place that allows me to see that, like, you know, not everybody's sitting with trauma every day.
Yeah.
Some people are with kids in a high school, and, like, that's fun. But, yeah. It's a journey.
I think it goes to speak to, like, you gotta have a range of relationships, both in culture, both in, like the content that you just, and the way that you connect with each other. All of those parts of you need care. They need to be held, and they need nourishment. So they give us opportunity for those. Yeah,
we've been talking a lot about like what are the things that we're gravitating to in the valley, right? The things that kind of with God become anchors that we hold on to that like ground us back to this place. But I think simultaneously what we're touching on is like how we're responding to the places of the valley, right? In essence, what we're saying is like the way that we are engaging with the hardships that are present is to find things outside of the hardship, right? It's to stay afloat with all of the other things that exist in the world that allow us to not go crazy, which I think it's powerful when we look at the way that we you talked about avoidance, I think last week, that not all these places are places of avoidance, but places of I think the best word I can find for it is like sparkling moments or like
golden nuggets. Or
yes. I
call them golden nuggets, at least with my clients.
Yes. How else would you say that you guys have engaged with the hardships that have been present?
I'm like, not in good ways.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh, okay. How have I engaged with the hardships? I think emotionally, this has been an interesting time for me in understanding and learning myself and accepting myself as an emotional being. I think I struggle at times to fully, because like when I feel an emotion, I feel it very intensely, especially negative emotions. I struggle with very intensely, and so it can lead to like shut down and withdrawal very quickly. And I think I've become more attuned with how that's happening, what's triggering it, and how and how I normally want to respond versus and how I should respond. And then I think emotionally too, it's also given me like more opportunity because I'm like intentionally like trying to find language and trying to actually engage the emotion instead of avoiding it. It's also given me like more opportunities to like call a friend and be like, this is what I need, to call my mom and be like, this is what I need, to pause and be like, hey Lisa, what do you need in this moment? Yeah. It's caused me to like actually check in with myself, and so I have been doing that more intentionally in the midst of this journey. I think I've been running away from a lot of those hard things for a long time, and emotionally I wasn't checked in. And I think it was beginning to impact my ability to emotionally check in with others. And that's where I was like, no, I can't do that. And when I say I can't do that, it's because that doesn't feel authentic to me, if that makes sense. I was going into a place that felt like protective rather than a place that was actually like taking me towards where I wanted to be. And that also speaks to like what I was talking about earlier with like my feeling, my sense of like responsibility of like life is not just about me and how I feel in this moment. It's also like other people are connected to me. Life is still happening even though I feel like how I feel right now.
Yeah.
And as much as possible, I want to show up for them. I may not show up in the ways that I once did, but I still want to. So one, emotionally, I've noticed that. Two, I think I relationally withdrew and also was just in a place of like confusion, in a place of distance, in a place of I just need to feel good. Anything that kind of just isn't allowing me to be in that space to feel good, I need a break for a minute. I need to step back for a minute. And so I don't know, I found myself even becoming more needy, but then also not really liking the idea of becoming needy. And so like having to become like also allow myself to like accept myself as becoming more needy. Like it's okay to reach out. It's okay to say how you're doing.
Yeah, to need help.
Yeah, it's okay to need help, you know? So it looked like a rhythm of all of that for me, of acknowledging and accepting and then doing things differently out of that. That's how I would summarize it.
Yeah.
I'll piggyback.
Okay.
You want time?
I mean, I think I have it.
Okay, go ahead.
So a lot of things that Lisa said, the deep breath was like, dang, that really was me. A lot of times my response to being in hardship is to, I think we said this, like, for me to honestly hit at whatever it is harder. Like, whether that means if I have like 10 clients on my caseload, that means now getting to 15 clients on my caseload. That means like staying at work until a certain time, that means I'm gonna stay at work longer. Like, I normally hit the thing, whatever it is, like just at 110%, just because I'm like, okay, I need to do it well. Like, just because I'm not well, that doesn't mean like this thing isn't going to be well. Like, so yes, I know that's destructive, and I am finding my way out.
We have unhealthy and healthy patterns.
But that is definitely one thing, which often now leads to avoidance. Like, I'm avoiding people because I'm like, people are also going to see that I'm not doing well, so I'm just going to keep going and act like everything is fine. Yeah. So a lot of, in terms of relationship, like I definitely had friends like call in and hit me up like, yo, are you well? Like, genuinely. No, but not out of like disrespect. Like, not out of disrespect, like me. No, like not in a condescending way, like how I act sometimes.
And the little fingers.
I know, in the fingers. Are you okay? No.
Who hurt you?
Not who hurt me.
No. What hurt you?
Oh my gosh. Not you hitting me with me. She hitting me with me. Oh wow. But yes, that was like genuine questions that like people were asking because they just didn't hear from me, or I just wasn't present. So yeah, I definitely go 110 and then I avoid. And I'm not saying this proudly, but I am saying this is what happens.
It's the reality.
As you're talking, I'm thinking about this stuff on social media, you know, and like, how are you? And they say like, I'm fine. And they say like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. And like tears are rolling.
No, I'm
like,
telling you.
I'm fine.
Streaming.
Yeah, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
It's a silent cry that is hurt the most.
Yeah. For me, I had to take notes as I was talking. I think my my automatic kind of sense is to go into autopilot mode. And so what I talked about last week is like, it's just gonna have to get done, and it just has to get done. Mm-hmm. So autopilot, where like I'm aware with my brain that I have feelings, and I don't allow my heart to engage it because I don't have time.
Yes. Yeah.
And so like I'm like, you're just, I see you, and you going on the shelf, and I'll get to you eventually. Not healthy, not sustainable. It happens in the moment. Secondly, a lot of my life is spent serving other people, whether it be clients or students or whoever, even friends. But I needed to give myself permission to like have needs as well, and to be cared for. A lot of, Gaylise is one of these people in my life, but there's a few people in my life who ask this question of like, what are your needs? And I remember every time I got asked that question, it would like tick me off and like, ugh, inside of me, that, you know, I'd have to breathe through and answer. But part of that was that it felt like, what the feeling felt like is, I am coming to you wanting to express myself and be vulnerable. And the question felt like, okay, what can you do for yourself to fix it? Like I'm coming to you for helping you, like, okay, then you'll take care of yourself. But I had to recognize that in that it wasn't a take care of yourself moment, but it was a trying to find language for exactly what the need is in the moment and how do we meet that. As well as me finding language for myself. So emotionally in this process, it would grind my gears, and I had to give myself permission to have needs and to not be okay. I think resilience is one of my strengths. And I realize that I don't know that I think of myself as human typically. I'm constantly telling my clients and everybody else, like, it's okay, you're human, rest, you need a break, be compassionate with yourself, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but this don't apply to me. Like, I don't get to be deficient in any area. I need to be able to get all the things done. And so my emotional hardship felt like I wasn't working properly. Does that make sense? Like, if I am a machine, my machine is malfunctioning. What are you doing? Get it together. And so having to realize that, like, no, Danielle, you get to be sad. You get to have needs. You get to express those needs, which is a stretch. We're still working on that. But like, I get to have needs. I get to, and not just have needs, but allow people to show up for me in those spaces and not deny the help that is offered to me. Mm-hmm. So it's been quite a journey. I remember at one point, I think it was around Thanksgiving into Christmas. I spent about a week or two, and I was just like, I just want to watch Hallmark movies. I just want to do that. And so I would work on my dissertation and have Hallmark movies playing. And after a week, I was like, Danielle, what is wrong with you? And somebody posted something that they were doing on Instagram to take care of themselves. And I realized that for me, it was a need that I had. It was a need that I had to just, as Gaylisa described, like, to experience goodness. And so the Hallmark movies, while, you know, it's the same plot every time. Girl meets man in a small town.
Not you telling the plot.
I mean, it's the same. No, for real though. That's a Lifetime.
One of them moved for work.
Consistent.
And there's a couple of them on Netflix too. One of them moved for work to a small town. One is a doctor. The other one ended up working in the doctor's office. They fall in love.
But I love them.
You know, the
whole
whole town is
insane.
Yeah,
the whole romantic.
The whole town is rooting for them, and then the person who moved decided they're gonna stay here and not go back to their hometown. That's the whole thing. But it's just the goodness of experiencing this that really allowed me to, I don't know. It just, my heart needed to not live in trauma, and to not just the trauma of the people around me, but my own life traumas that were happening. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it felt predictable. It just felt safe. So yeah, a lot of my responses succinctly have been autopilot to letting myself have emotions, and then in letting myself have emotions, putting myself in those places to feel well and safe.
Yeah. These are good reflections, friends.
Yes.
Yeah. As we ponder on what the journey has looked like, it's refreshing to see like how all of the different things, at least in my brain, it's like all of the little things are like connecting, and seeing where and being present in the midst of what happened then and what even sometimes happens now.
Yeah.
Just like a explosion in my brain. I love it here. Side note, listeners, if you ever see us looking up,
yes,
it's because we're looking at our awesome, amazing producer, editor, all of the things, Miss Erin, Erin.
Full government.
Oh, yeah. Oh my Sorry, I out you. You can just bleep that out.
Wait. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Tell them hi, gal.
But yeah, so we appreciate her, and she's been great in keeping us accountable and finishing out these episodes well. So
I think at the end of the day, just to wrap up, I think at the end of the day, like, we are human too.
Yes.
And as much as, like I said, we play leadership roles, and people are always like, how do I do this, and how do I take care of myself, and how
that
do
question makes me mad more.
Jesus. He's the answer.
Jesus is the answer for the world today. But as we highlighted, it was season 1. We highlighted that we are lifelong learners.
Yes.
And in being lifelong learners, we are still navigating life and learning how to take care of ourselves well, how to sustain well, how to allow God to join us in these places well. It's a journey. And we've been telling y'all we're going to take you on a journey. At this point, we in it.
We in there.
Yeah.
Like swimwear.
Y'all, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Clearly, our minds ain't working no more. But thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week.
Bye.